I wonder if you could help us understand how to communicate risk to the people around you, whether they're your colleagues, your friends, or your family. When you take a calculated risk, how do you explain what you're doing to the people around you so that it makes sense and they can understand there are benefits that will come from this?
That's an interesting question because I don't feel like you need to explain it to others. I don't think other people need to understand what you're doing. You need to understand what you're doing. As long as you understand what the risks are and you're willing to accept the consequences for those risks, because that's what a risk is. A risk has consequences. It can go good and it can go bad. If there was no chance of it going bad, then it wouldn't be a risk. Now, would it? It would just be something you do. So at the end of the day, taking risks in life are all about it can go this way or it can go this way. And then a calculated risk is, well, the chances, I'm going to do everything in my power through training and preparation and putting everything in place and learning what I need to do to put the odds in my favor of it going in the best way possible. Now, don't get me wrong, even if you do everything right and you don't make any mistakes and you do everything to push it in the right direction, because it's still a risk, things can still go bad. But this is the most important thing. When you take risks in life or business or extreme sports or anything, every now and then things will go bad. It just happens. But if you're truly passionate about what you want to do and you don't lose focus of your end goal, anytime you take a risk and it goes bad, that's a learning experience. That's something you learn from. That doesn't mean you give up. That doesn't mean you just stop. You don't hit a barrier and go, oh, there's a barrier. I guess I can't get there. The difference between the person who's successful and the person who fails is the person who doesn't give up and the person who does give up. Failure is a choice. It's not something that happens to you. Failure is you deciding to give up on something. When I have somebody say, well, I failed, I'm like, well, are you alive? Are you still breathing? Are we having this conversation? Did you really fail or did you decide to stop trying? Did you just give up? Because if you were still trying, well, you didn't fail. You're just in the process of making it happen. Let's put it this way. Every single human, no matter what your goal is, there are going to be barriers placed between you and whatever that goal is. Sometimes it's finances. Sometimes it's other people telling you you're not good enough. Sometimes it's you telling yourself, your own fears telling you you're not good enough. But if you can keep focus on your goal, where you want to go, what you want to be, what you want to do, and every time you hit a barrier, you're like, okay, here's a barrier. How do I get around it? How do I climb over it? How do I, like a laser, burn through it in order to figure out how to get to where I need to be? If you do not give up on that goal, then eventually you will get there. Sometimes it takes a year, sometimes it takes 5 years, sometimes it takes a lifetime. But don't give up if it's a passion. Now, don't get me wrong. If it's not a passion of yours and it doesn't matter to you, by all means, give up and focus on something that is. But again, I see failure as a choice. It's something you choose. You choose to fail. I made the choice. I don't want to do that anymore. And sometimes that's the right choice. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's the right choice. If it isn't genuinely a passion of yours, you shouldn't be putting too much energy into things that aren't true passions for you. You should be putting all of your energy into things that you are passionate about, that you care about, and that have some meaning that gives your life a purpose. And giving your life purpose, everyone has to figure that out for themselves. Sometimes a person's purpose is helping others, helping homeless people, that's a great goal. Mother Teresa was awesome. Some people, that is what gives their life purpose, and that's amazing. If that's what you want to do it. But for other people, their passions are flying out of airplanes and jumping off cliffs and trying to live that dream that they had as little children of actually flying like Superman. If that's your passion, do it. If your passion is singing and dancing and that's what you really love, do it. And you can tell the difference between a person who, like an actor, for instance, who loves acting. Like they just love the craft of acting. That's their passion. And the person who just wants to be famous. They're two very different things. The person who's very passionate about acting will usually become successful. The person who wants to just be famous usually won't, because they give up. This guy never gives up, because why would he? He's having fun acting. It doesn't matter if he's making money at it. It doesn't matter if he's famous. All he's doing is acting because he loves to act. There you go. And that's, And that fits into every category of every job, everywhere in the world. I don't care if you're working at McDonald's or you're working as a top CEO. If you're passionate about what you're doing and you don't give up, you will become successful in it, period. And I use the example of McDonald's because when I was in Israel, I saw something that blew me away. My buddy was talking to me, telling me about how, oh, McDonald's in Israel is actually good food. I'm like, really? I'm like, I don't know, man. I think McDonald's is McDonald's. But anyways, he convinces me to go to McDonald's in Israel. And I'm just like, whatever. We go there, and behind the counter is a girl. She might have been 17 years old, maybe 18, but she was young, very young. And she was the happiest human being I have ever seen in my life. I've never seen someone so excited and so stoked to just be working. You could tell that this person was just excited to have a job and be making their own money. She didn't care what the job was. And when I watched her work and how much energy and passion and just like excitement she put into that job, I could tell this woman is going to go places in her life, period. I don't know what she's doing now, but I'd be willing to bet you she is freaking, successful in whatever it was. Because when a person can be that passionate about a job that literally, if I had that job, I'd shoot myself in the head. And that's what was amazing. I'm like, how can this person be so excited over such a job that I couldn't even imagine doing? So, and that's where I got an enormous amount of respect, because I'm like, wow, I wish I was like her. I wish I had that ability to be that excited over something that I don't find exciting, So I don't know. I just think that that's what's important is having passion for what you're doing, whatever it is. And if you're not passionate about what you're doing, find something you're passionate about doing. That's what's important.